Leo, radiant soul, listen closely. Something big is coming your way, something that will shift the direction of your entire life. And yes, it all starts with one bold move, a signature. This is not a coincidence. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident. You were drawn here because a powerful alignment is unfolding. A sacred door is opening. And you, Leo, are standing right in front of it. You felt the tension in your chest lately. The sense that something's rising, like a tide within you. You may not have the full picture yet, but your heart already knows, change is coming. Not just any change, this is a quantum leap. A travel opportunity, an unexpected contract, a message from someone you didn't expect. Whatever it is, it's asking for your courage, your decision, your signature. And deep down, you know you're ready. This video, this sacred space, is part of that transformation. You came to eternal mindfulness for a reason. Maybe it was a whisper inside you. Maybe it was a string of repeating numbers. Maybe it was that dream you can't shake off. But whatever brought you here, trust this, it was guided. And the moment you say yes to what's calling you, the universe will move with you. Let's talk timing. Astrologically, your ruling planet, the Sun, is illuminating the areas of purpose and bold direction. Mercury is awakening your voice. Mars is stoking your ambition. This isn't just cosmic weather, it's a personal invitation. You're being prepared for movement, for clarity, for a divine contract that elevates your path. So let me ask you directly, what if everything you've been waiting for is on the other side of this one decision? What if the trip you're about to take isn't just a physical journey, but a spiritual initiation into the next version of you? And what if that one signature, that piece of paper, that yes, that commitment is the catalyst that changes your story forever? Don't underestimate the power of a moment like this. This isn't just a reading. It's a confirmation. And it's coming with both fire and grace. Before we go deeper, I want to pause and say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to open this message when you could have ignored the signs. Every like, every comment, every share, every subscription you give to this channel builds a sanctuary for seekers like you. Your energy keeps this space alive, and your support allows these sacred transmissions to reach those who need them most. Now I have a small request for you. If you're already feeling this resonance in your body, in your bones, in your chest, then leave a comment below and write, "I feel it coming, and I'm ready to sign what the universe sends my way." That's more than just a comment. That's your declaration. It anchors your intention. It's your energetic signature before the real one arrives. And trust me, you'll want to stay with me through the very last second of today's message, because what the universe is about to reveal to you next is nothing short of extraordinary. Let's begin. Leo, when we talk about a journey that has already been written into the stars, we're not simply speaking of a plane ticket, a suitcase, or a new zip code. We're speaking of a movement that starts in the unseen, of a shift that originates not on the outside, but within. The presence of the Fool in your reading is not a call to recklessness. It is an invitation to step forward with a clean heart, unburdened by the weight of certainty. It speaks of a kind of trust that is rare in this world, the trust that the ground will rise to meet your feet only after you've begun walking. Combined with the Chariot, the energy becomes unmistakable. Momentum is here. Not just as a possibility, but as a pull, a current, a magnetic force guiding you towards something unfamiliar yet strangely meant for you. The signs may have already started. Perhaps an email from an old contact showed up unexpectedly. Maybe a travel opportunity was whispered in passing, or an intuitive nudge told you to pack something, even if you don't yet know why. These aren't coincidences. They are ripples forming ahead of the wave. A change in geography, moving homes, cities, or even taking on a new daily routine always comes with a change in energy. You are no longer vibrating on the frequency of where you've been. The old environment cannot hold the new version of you. This isn't a punishment, it's a signal of readiness. What's most important now isn't what you're taking with you physically, but what you're carrying emotionally. Too often, we prepare for change by organizing our outer world while neglecting the sacred weight of what lives in our inner bags. Take this moment to reflect. What are the dreams you're still holding on to? What pieces of your own story have you yet to fully claim? This moment asks you to pack differently, not with fear or defensiveness, but with integrity and vision. Courage doesn't mean being unafraid. It means choosing to bring your whole self, even the trembling parts, into the unknown. This transition is aligned with energies that many overlook. In numerology, the number 5 heralds movement, change, and the breaking of routine. It's the rebel, the traveler, the energy that bursts through structure. The number 7 brings spiritual refinement and inner awareness. It slows us just enough to ensure our direction isn't driven by impulse alone, but by meaning. If you've been seeing these numbers lately, they're not merely digits. They're guides. Together, they whisper, "Go, but go with soul." Even color plays a role here. Orange-yellow hues awaken your solar plexus, the energetic center that governs willpower, decision-making, and healthy self-esteem. Wearing this color or meditating with its vibration will support your confidence as you move forward. Navy blue, on the other hand, cloaks you with discernment and inner truth. It says, you can explore without losing yourself. Both colors are allies, one to ignite your steps, the other to guide them. This portion of your journey is not about grand declarations or showy leaps. It's about presence. About walking with eyes open and breath steady. About understanding that every real journey starts with an internal question: am I willing to be changed? Because travel is not only about new destinations, it is about becoming someone new when you arrive. As we prepare to walk deeper into what awaits you, remember, everything you need is already within you. The destination is not far. It is rising to meet you. There are moments in life when an act as simple as placing your signature on a page becomes a sacred crossing. It may seem mundane on the surface, just ink meeting paper, just a name written down, but for you, Leo, this isn't just about formalities. It's about sealing an inner truth. It's about acknowledging that the life you've been preparing for is finally ready to begin. When we see the energies of the world and the Hierophant combined, we're witnessing something rare: the closing of a karmic loop and the birth of conscious commitment. This is not a coincidence. It's a divine sequence you've earned through experience, discipline, and alignment with your deeper values. The world suggests completion. Not in the sense of finality, but in the sense that you've come full circle. There is wisdom now where there once was doubt. You've walked through enough doors to know what it feels like when one truly belongs to you. And now, the Hierophant appears not to teach you something new, but to ask whether you're ready to live by what you've learned. Together, these cards whisper, the next chapter is not just an extension of your past, it's a conscious redesign of your future. This signature may be linked to a job offer in a city you never expected to call home. It may involve an investment, a business partnership, or a property exchange that shifts not only your external environment but also your sense of identity. More deeply, though, this act of signing is a reflection of your willingness to be accountable to your own potential. You're no longer the version of yourself who hesitates. You are the version who chooses. You are the one who accepts the responsibility of expansion. Yet before you sign, there's a stillness to honor. There is a pause that arises not from fear, but from reverence. In traditions of mindfulness, great emphasis is placed on what precedes action: the silence before speech, the breath before a step, the gaze before a gesture. You are now in that space. It is not a space of waiting. It is a space of remembering. Remember who you are. Remember why you came. And then decide, not from pressure or external expectation, but from the quiet clarity that lives just beneath your ribs. It's normal for your hand to tremble as you prepare to write your name. That trembling is not weakness, it is the soul recognizing the weight of what is about to unfold. It is your being sensing that once this moment passes, nothing will be quite the same. But don't let that tremble stop you. Let it steady you instead. Let it be the fire at your back, not the wall in front of you. This isn't about being impulsive. Read every word. Consider your options. But don't let caution become your cage. You've been preparing for this. And if doubt arises, journal through it. Ask yourself, am I afraid because something is wrong? Or am I afraid because something is finally right? What matters now is not perfection, it's presence. You don't need to see every step ahead. You only need to know that your next step is yours to take. And that step begins with choosing. With signing. With saying yes to your own unfolding. There is nothing more powerful than someone who knows their path and dares to commit to it. This is the chapter where you say, I'm not waiting for the world to give me permission anymore. This is where you take the pen, sign your name, and meet your own becoming at full speed. And perhaps most profoundly, this is where you realize, the signature was never about paper. It was always about who you were willing to become once the ink dried. When something within you begins to shift, before the outer world even notices, your body is often the first to respond. Restlessness creeps in during the night. Dreams turn into long corridors with no doors. A phrase, someone speaks a name, a memory suddenly hits differently, vibrating through your chest like a bell that only you can hear. These aren't coincidences or disturbances to be feared. They are invitations. Quiet yet insistent signs that a deeper part of you has already begun the transition before your conscious self could fully catch up. What you're experiencing is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough preparing to take form. For many Leos, this exact phase, this deep internal rumble, mirrors what is known in ancient wisdom traditions as the moment before emergence. Just as a seed breaks through the soil not with ease, but with pressure, your current sensations are not signs of failure or regression. They are signs that the old framework no longer fits. The self that once felt comfortable in certain routines, places, even relationships, is quietly bowing out. And what remains is the stretch, the beautiful, terrifying, exhilarating stretch off, becoming someone more aligned, more real, more fully awake. Tarot maps this moment with symbols like the moon and death. The moon speaks of what is hidden rising to the surface, distorting vision, asking you to trust not your eyes, but your knowing. Death is not a card of endings in the way most people fear. It is a shedding. The caterpillar must dissolve completely in its cocoon before it becomes the butterfly. There is no bypassing this. There is no shortcut through the chrysalis. So when your chest tightens at night, or your breath shortens when you hear something that awakens a memory or a truth, don't rush to silence it. Sit with it. Not everything uncomfortable is meant to be solved immediately. Some discomforts are teachers in disguise. What if, instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" you asked, "What part of me is asking to be seen?" That shift alone can change the nature of your experience. There are small practices, grounding anchors that help hold you during this season of inward shaking. Begin your mornings with warm water, not just as a physical cleanse, but as a ritual to set intention. As you drink, let the simple phrase rise in your mind: "I am ready to meet what is changing in me." Let your breath slow and anchor you into the now. This alone can calm the system, which is doing its best to keep up with your soul's velocity. At night, allow soft light to hold space for you. A white candle or the soft glow of the moon carries a gentle stability. Light it not for magic, but for mindfulness. Sit for 7 minutes, no more, no less, and let silence return to your body. Don't try to force clarity. Just let yourself be witnessed by the moment. In doing so, you train the mind not to panic in the void, but to remember that something sacred grows in stillness. Color, too, plays a quiet role in this passage. Off-white tones soothe the nervous system and bring softness to mental rigidity. Lavender holds the frequency of calm introspection, like a quiet room where your thoughts can exhale. Earth-toned yellows help ground you back into your body when you feel lost in mental fog. These are not superstitions. They are practical, sensory languages your body speaks fluently when your mind grows tired of words. This inner tremor you feel is not a warning. It is a prelude. A signal that your system is integrating something new, something hard-won. And though the path ahead may not be fully visible, your body already knows where to step next if only you are still enough to feel it. There is something profoundly quiet about the moment before reward arrives, an almost sacred stillness that asks you to trust, not because you see results, but because you know what you've given. You, Leo, have shown up in ways that few ever truly witness. You've worked hard when no one was looking, supported others without recognition, stayed patient while storms passed that no one else even noticed. And in that silence, something deeper than effort was forming: integrity. This chapter isn't about earning something new. It's about receiving what has been long overdue. When we speak of the universe repaying, it's easy to imagine it like a cosmic bank finally cashing in our effort. But the truth is more subtle, and much more beautiful. What's returning to you now is not just the product of action, it is the energy of alignment. It's the ripple from choices you made when no one told you to keep going. It's the response to a kind word you gave even when your own heart was heavy. These things don't vanish. They travel, quietly, until they circle back to you, often in unexpected ways. This season brings with it the law of return. In ancient teachings, it is said that no seed sown with care ever fails to flower. But the harvest doesn't always come on our timeline. The soil must settle. The roots must hold. And in your life, Leo, those roots have been deepening for years. You didn't give up. You didn't forget who you were. And now, you may begin to notice the return, not always loud, but deeply meaningful. A call from someone you thought had forgotten you. A financial break you quietly prayed for. An invitation, a reconnection, a door you thought was closed, opening again with a softness that surprises you. But even as these gifts arrive, there's a kind of grace required in receiving. We often rush to dismiss the good when it finally comes, doubting it, pushing it away, questioning whether we're worthy. Let me gently remind you, the return is not just fair, it is right. It is precise. It is your moment. And just as the mountain does not apologize for standing tall, you do not need to apologize for standing ready. Still, this is not a moment for passivity. The reward may be near, but it requires your participation. A final gesture. A completed form. A courageous follow-up. That job application you hesitated to send? That email you weren't sure you were ready to write? The idea you keep brushing aside, thinking it's too late? Now is the time. The ground is fertile, but the seed still needs planting. Take the step. Revisit the conversation. Press send. Trust that the path has already shifted to meet you halfway. And if fear whispers that this might not be real, that maybe this chance is just another illusion, pause. Place your hand over your heart. Remind yourself, you didn't come this far by luck. You came by truth. And the truth doesn't expire. It builds. Quietly. Steadily. Until it rises into your reality like sunlight over a slow morning. So I invite you, here and now, to claim this moment as yours. Not with force, but with presence. With that lion-hearted courage that lives deep within you. And if this message speaks to something inside you, if it mirrors even a small part of what you know to be true, then let it echo in your own words. Right below, I have sown with my heart, now I receive with light. And let that affirmation be the breath that signals you are ready, truly ready, to welcome what was always meant for you. Sometimes the universe doesn't speak in grand gestures, but in quiet patterns. You notice a number repeating 11:11, 777, 1212. A line from a song you've heard before suddenly plays at the exact moment you're thinking of a person or decision. A soft light pierces through the curtains in an otherwise still room. A feather appears on your path, or a golden butterfly lands nearby and lingers longer than expected. These aren't just poetic moments. They are energetic echoes, tiny pulses of alignment showing you that something in your field has shifted. That you're no longer walking blind, but being guided, gently and consistently, towards something real. These signs are not here to impress you. They are here to steady you. Often, right after a moment of inner breakthrough, especially after prolonged effort or emotional weight, our energy begins to recalibrate. And when it does, it opens the door to a frequency that is more aligned, more clear. You could think of it as tuning a radio dial. For months, you may have heard static, muffled, broken messages. Now, without forcing it, something is beginning to come through with clarity. That clarity arrives in layers, in symbols, in familiar loops that seem to whisper, yes, keep going. You are not off track. This type of alignment can feel surreal at first, especially when you've grown used to having to push for every inch of progress. But part of the growth in this season is not pushing. It's receiving. It's noticing without clinging, observing without analyzing. In practices of conscious awareness, there is a quiet truth. When you are fully present, the world begins to mirror your readiness. The moment you begin to trust that you are supported, support begins to show itself. And not always in dramatic outcomes, but in subtle confirmations that arrive exactly when your faith begins to waver. Writing these signs down might feel small, but it trains your mind to stay awake to synchronicity. Each time you journal something you've noticed, a repeated number, a song that moves you, a symbol you keep in counterinjury, not just documenting your experience. You're reinforcing your role as a participant in your own path. You're saying, I'm paying attention. And attention is one of the most powerful currencies in transformation. What you notice grows. What you acknowledge responds. A simple practice that supports this awareness is giving yourself 3 minutes each morning. Before the noise of the day begins, before reaching for your phone, sit quietly and repeat to yourself, I am in the right place, at the right time, tuned to the right frequency to receive what's meant for me. Say it gently, not as a demand but as an invitation. It's not about manufacturing certainty, it's about allowing a grounded openness. Let it shape how you notice your day. Let it soften your shoulders and open your breath. Over time, you'll begin to see that you don't need to chase signs, they will come to you when you are still enough to see them. The real message in these synchronicities is not that something is coming. It's that something has already begun. The energy around you is preparing for expansion. And like a flower that leans slightly towards sunlight before blooming, your entire being is already moving in the direction of what is right for you. You don't have to force the doors open. You just have to recognize when they begin to crack. And when they dowk through slowly, humbly, and with your eyes wide open. Because the life that is unfolding on the other side, it's the one that was always meant for you. Dear Leo, the journey we just walked through together is not a prediction, it's a preparation. You didn't find this message by coincidence. It found you because something sacred within your spirit is already stirring, already reaching toward the next chapter. You felt the pull of the open road, the nudge of an opportunity written in ink, the soft quake within that says, it's time. These weren't just signs, they were confirmations. Confirmation that a journey is unfolding not only around you, but within you. That you are being called to rise, to shift, to claim. And now, the question is no longer, will something happen? The question is, will you step forward to meet it? Because no matter how aligned the stars are, no matter how many feathers fall at your feet, none of it moves unless you move first. That's the sacred partnership between destiny and free will. The universe opens the door, but only you can walk through. So here's what I ask of you. Take a breath. Place your hand gently over your heart. Feel it beating not out of fear, but of readiness. Whisper softly to yourself, I will sign. I will go. And I will not regret it. Let that promise echo through every part of you that ever hesitated or doubted. Because what's coming next isn't punishment for who you were, it's reward for who you've dared to become. You've planted seeds in silence. You've watered them with patience. And now, you are standing on the edge of your own blooming. So if this message felt like it was written directly for you, it's because in many ways, it was. Your energy co-created it by showing up here today. You are the reason it exists. And that means you already know deep down, this message is not just about travel, contracts, or outer signs. It's about saying yes to yourself. Now I invite you to take a sacred pause and reflect. What door have you been standing in front of for too long? What decision have you quietly known is ready to be made? And when the chance comes again, when the universe hands you the pen, will you sign it with fear or with faith? I encourage you to share your readiness below. Type, "I am ready for the biggest turning point of my life." Let that comment be your first step through the gate. Let it be your declaration. Because sometimes, the first act of transformation is simply claiming it. Thank you from the deepest space of my heart for choosing to spend your time here with me. Every like, every share, every comment, each one is a thread that strengthens the light of this family we are building together here on Eternal Mindfulness. Your presence is not just appreciated, it is powerful. And I promise, Leo, if you stay with me until the very end, the next message waiting for you may just be the one that changes everything. Now tell me, my radiant Leos, what have you done, or let go of, that called this message into your life today? I'm listening, and the stars are too.